alert, this is the very ending of Rosie Murphy's podcast on harp. Welcome, Rosie. Cones atatu.
Tá mé gomach gur míle míle mágad, Tá mé im bhaile in algan inis ag cleachtú mo chláir seach agus tá an green sa spéir agus sin é, yeah, gur míle.
Dear listeners of the podcast series, curious is this is the first time that we hear Irish in this podcast. Thank you so much, Rosie.
Thank you so much for having me.
Harpist from Dundalk, do I pronounce it
Yeah,
correctly?
that's it indeed, yeah, from Dundalk.
And that's where you learned your instrument, first of all.
Yeah, it is. So I grew up here and it's a big Irish music tradition here. So I grew up playing Irish traditional music and classical music with my mum. So it's like in the Irish music tradition you pass on music usually generation to generation. So if I know someone that plays the Irish violin, the fiddle, often their mum or grandfather or great grandfather also played. So
Well, Rosie's podcast is such a journey because it starts home at your cradle where you learn your music, and somehow your curiosity drives you very far from your origin because you define and you explain so well harp as a sign of identity in Ireland, right? At some point in your podcast, you explained that during rebellion, Ireland was called the harp.
yes, so like a lot of revolutions or rebellions for Irish independence throughout the past 800 years, they first some of the flags that fronted these rebellions had the harp on them, but also there was a saying called "It is newly strung and should be heard." So that was obviously referring to Ireland, and that was Ireland symbolically as a harp with new strings.
Mhm. Did you study in the Netherlands as well?
Yeah, so I did my bachelor in The Hague, my bachelor degree in classical harp, and then I took minor in sonology. Minor.
Because you play a couple of compositions and improvisations in your podcast, which you composed, in which you improvise, and this particular one has the sound of a few bells of churches around your hometown. Is that correct?
Yes. So that's actually my cathedral, just about 5 minutes away from my house. I recorded some of the bells. They go off it drives some people crazy, I think, but these bells go off every half hour, sometimes just to tell the time and then with tunes. So I recorded some of them and I added them into my piece kind of as an ode to growing up and playing the harp every mass, every Sunday mass.
Wow. And your curiosity took you much further. At some point, you discovered Maqam. You
Indeed.
refer in the podcast to harp in very different latitudes. How did you come across? How did the path cross you?
Yeah, I guess it came really because of my interest in Irish history with the harp, as I mentioned, and then I decided to do a deeper dive, and I did. I always knew actually that the national instrument of Egypt was the harp, and I always find that quite interesting because I didn't think of any kind of connection as an Irish person. But then, yeah, the harp originated um, in Mesopotamia, so. Um, Iran, Iraq, Syria, Turkey. And then, yeah, from there, kind of realizing that and then following the trail of the harp through many different continents, it brought me to a lot of different cultures and countries.
So you're enriching your language and your tuning system in your instrument, thanks
Mhm.
to the way people play your own instrument differently in
Exactly.
different geography. We not only hear harp in this podcast, but also
which sounds like this, just as a scale. That's not enough to really define the Maqam. But if I play for you,
you use this to retune your harp, to improvise on it and learn the basics and the essence of Maqam. no less, and check this, I'm trying to impress you, with the author of this book, who
Oh
I
yeah.
happen to carry with me because I teach this subject called tuning and temperament, and we do a comparison of different tuning systems. And you found the author, the co-author. How come? How did you meet? How did you discover each other?
Well, actually, when I worked with Saad on his piece, in his extended Maqam tuning, I asked him, like, could he maybe teach me a bit on it because I just before I wanted to play this piece or play any kind of music like this, I really wanted to inform myself a bit more because it's so outside of my whole realm of music education. So he just said, I'm not the person to learn this, but I'll tell you who I learned it from, and this is like the master of Maqam. So I went on to just get in contact with Sami and just asked, please, could I have some online lessons? So yeah,
Sami Abu Shumays, who also has a very interesting website. Maybe we could give a reference underneath this video.
definitely, yeah.
And you're referring to Saad Haddad, who is a composer with Arabic origin but developed in the States, right? He was also a nominee for Gaudeamus a couple of years ago.
Yes, well, yeah.
It's a very small world. And Saad is also invited to this podcast. Sounds like this.
So I feel very lucky and honored, actually, to have become a part of this and to have having this kind of sensibility find me in a way, because it's given me a lot of purpose in my artistic practice, not just for the love of writing, which of course I do, but also gives me a larger mission about why I'm writing music in the first place and what story I have to tell.
So you are now listening to the premiere, performed by myself, of Tasal Sol 2 by Saad Haddad.
How do you deal with tuning then?
It's that's a tough one because you have to like set the pedals had to be set to the certain collection of gins, and then if I were to ever move a pedal or modulate, then you've completely lost that, and then you're not falling into this pattern anymore. So that for me, if I were to compose or improvise in this, I'm still struggling with, and I can understand why Saad has also made these extended because with the harp it's just so difficult to retune. But it's fun to try. I love the once you get one, you can just improvise around that. But just to
Do you hold the pedal with your foot halfway, or do you take it?
no, so I just tune down a quarter tone or a certain sense on the just on the string, which is kind of tough to maintain because the harp is used to being in a certain tuning. But yeah, it's fun.
What an adventure.
Yeah.
Young player, you were just awarded a BBC Prize for Young Talent on the Harp a couple of months ago.
Yeah, in actually a year ago now.
Oh, right. Yeah, time
Yeah, I got
flies.
the Young Musician Platform Award, the BBC one here. So
We have
yeah,
just graduated in 24, right? In the
yeah.
Hague.
Yeah, so then 2025, 2024 I graduated, yeah.
Specializing in contemporary. Then you have made so many discoveries around the world. This podcast is also a crash course on the introduction to Maqam by experts, and you also refer to South America. Are you aware of the harp in Paraguay, for example?
Yeah, so I'm absolutely enthralled by the Paraguayan harp and the way it's played. And actually, about I want to say a month ago, a group of Paraguayan musicians happened to be in Dublin touring, and they came and they brought their harp to a trad session. So it was like Irish traditional music and tunes, and then Paraguayan folk music, and everyone was playing along together, and like really, it was really cool. It was the most beautiful meshing of sounds of music.
Wow, going deep into the mat and then expanding your world of expression. That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Rosie. I would encourage everybody to take this journey with you from your hometown And then curiosity takes you as far as learning Maqam, as being in touch with Paraguay. I was myself, when I was 15, I had a scholarship to learn Guarani in Paraguay. That's when I learned
Oh,
the Paraguayan guitar. I was curious.
oh,
And check that, you didn't miss it, of course.
incredible.
That's lovely. We hope to have you soon at Gaudiamus Festival. If you want to invite us to any next occasion, CD release, I don't know what's happening in the coming weeks, months. We're now in June 2026. It's nice to mention.
Mhm. Yeah, so I've a couple of upcoming fun concerts. In particular, I have one on Thursday where I'm playing on the same lineup as Tashi Georgie, a Bhutanese guitarist. So that'll be improvisation, and then over the summer I'll be doing quite a lot of concerts abroad, and looking forward to one in Toronto for the World Harp Congress, where I'll play
Congrats.
improvisation.
Fantastic. Well, very proud representative of your instruments. We're so glad we could host your podcast. Thank you so much. It's very
Thanks so
interesting, it's
much.
fascinating to listen to. So we highly recommend our listeners to give it the hour it deserves. Thank you so much. How would I say thank you and goodbye in Irish?
Goodbye, Slán, and thank you, Gurav Mayagat.
You've said it. Thank you so much.